muted myself. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, viewers watching, and welcome to today's session, our second session of the STEMI Flicks and Chill. Today, first of all, we'd like to apologize for the late delay. You know, most technology, unforeseen circumstances, life happens. So life happened to us, but we hope you forgive us. We're going to have a great session. With us today, we have Charles Maphanga, who is a CSIR researcher. He has a BSc honors in medical virology and an MSc in physics. I do not know what virology is. I don't even think I've ever heard of that word. So Charles, you will not only be speaking to our audience, but you will be speaking to me more than anyone else, because yesterday and hopefully today too, I'm learning so much about stuff that I didn't even think existed. So these sessions are really, really good for us, and to just help us, even if you've already chosen a career and there's nothing you can do about it, but you know, just to expand your knowledge and get to know things from different fields that you never thought you could know about. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to you to just tell us your story, and then after when you're done, we will take on the questions. Over to you, Charles.
Oh, thank you, Unati. So what do I start with? Do I start with virology? Because you don't know what virology is.
Please tell me what virology is. And then you tell us about your life story.
I think virology, it explains itself. The ology at the end just tells you that it's the study of something. So that something is viruses. So it's just the study of viruses. So yeah, I did medical virology in my honors. But then let me start. So it also, for me, I think it all started when I was 5 years old, because I started primary school when I was only 5 years old. And yeah, I come from a small village called Ramampuru. It's in Steelpoort. Some people say it's also under Beggersfort. So it's in Limpopo. So I started school at the age of 5. I think the advantage for me for studying early, I think, is because they were just tired of me staying at home, because I was the youngest of my siblings. I was the youngest of my cousins. So we were all staying together, and then everyone was going to school and leaving me behind. And I think the other nice thing about what I experienced from that is that whenever they come back from school, they'll always play school, and then they'll always be the teachers, and then I'll be the learner. And then from that, they didn't know that they were teaching me how to read and then how to write. Because when I started grade 1, because of whatever that we were doing after school with them playing teacher and then me playing learner, I learned how to read, I learned how to write. So when I did grade 1, I already knew how to read, I already knew how to write. So what they were doing at school, it was a school in the village. I didn't go to multiracial schools. So from grade 1 to matric, I went to schools in the village. And then I think when I was in grade 1, they used to take me around classes and then just to teach the other learners basic things. It was mainly titles like mother, father, sister. So I knew how to read and then how to write those, and then names of animals and stuff. And I then went on to, the other interesting thing about my primary school is that I did grade 7. We used to call it standard 5 back then. I did grade 7 and grade 8 in 1 year. So I was moved from primary school to high school in the middle of the year. It was very exciting for me. Yeah, and then high school, I started matric at the age of 15 because I was jumping grades. And the nice thing is I had not been influenced by the society as yet at that point, so I could focus. So I started matric at the age of 15. I matriculated at 16. I used to think I was very smart. Then I got to University of Pretoria. That humbled me. So I got to University of Pretoria thinking that I'm very smart, but then out of that, I learned that university is not about the straight A's that you get in high school, Unati. University is about focus, it's about dedication. So I did my undergrad, I struggled through it. And yeah, because I was also working at the same time, I was serving tables while I was doing my undergrad. Then I did my undergrad. Fortunate enough, I completed it with an extra year added. And the other thing, after that, I did my honors in medical virology. That's where the virology comes in. But before I did medical virology, I just want to emphasize that after my undergraduate degree, I was offered an internship through what is called TIA today, but then back then it used to be called BioPed. So I was one of the people that were selected to do an internship through BioPed, and then they take people, they place them in different laboratories. So I was placed at a biotechnology lab, which is a private biotechnology lab. I'm not sure if I should mention names. So I did my internship for 1 year, 6 months. And then after that, I knew that, okay, I love biotechnology, but then I also love clinical diagnostic labs. So that's when I transitioned to working for another private company where I worked in a molecular biology lab because of I was very much interested in clinical diagnostics. And then in that company, then they offered me an opportunity to study my honors in medical virology so that I can qualify as a medical scientist. And then from there, having worked with pathologists, very closely with pathologists, I realized that I also have an interest in research, but then they did not offer me that because when you're working in a clinical diagnostic laboratory, you're mainly doing routine work. So for me, I get bored quickly. So I quickly got bored and then I wanted something else, something different. So hence I then joined the CSIR. So I joined the CSIR on a master's studentship and then I did my master's and then after that I got permanent employment and then I'm currently a researcher. And then at the same time, I'm also pursuing a PhD. Long story. Hi, Unati.
Hi. So, wow. I just found that we have so much in common. I also started a school when I was 5 years old.
Lovely.
Sub A, it was called.
Yes, Sub A.
Yes, and my grandmother was so sick of me because I was also the youngest of my cousins and all of that.
Yeah.
And I used to like hanging on the apron strings. I used to follow her everywhere. So she was like, no, can the school keep this one? And then I also ended up doing matric when I was 16. So we have a lot in common, but I did not have the mind for science. I was always a language girl. So I remember my grandmother used to teach us English. That's how I learned English, through my grandmother. She would teach us, every night before bed, we would have to learn the parts of the body. So she would say it in isiXhosa in English. So head, inhloko, chin, isilevu, chin. There was no way you were going to forget it. So wow, it's so interesting that you see people doing, in a different field that from what you are in, and you have so much in common.
Definitely, our lives are intertwined.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, so my question for you, because I like I said yesterday, the nice thing about facilitating is that I can ask my questions first. So if time runs out, mine is done. Anyway, my question for you is, what are you working on currently as a researcher at the CSIR now? And what were you led to research by, like you said, you get bored easily? Did you get tired of what you were doing and you thought, okay, I'm going to go into research now? And then what are you actually working on now, if it's not a secret, if you're allowed to tell us a little bit about what you're actually doing now with the CSIR?
Oh, okay. What led me into research first? I think research gives you the privilege to innovate, you see, to be creative. But then when you are doing routine work, you don't get that. But then you gain a lot of experience out of that will later on in life enable you to be creative and then to be innovative in that space. So you cannot just come out of university and then be innovative, be creative. Okay, maybe it happens to other people, but then for me, I need to be comfortable in what I'm doing before then I can then be innovative and creative. So remember that I said I'm from a clinical diagnostic laboratory. So it has led me to what I'm doing today, because what I'm doing at the CSIR today, I work in a group that focuses on the development of point-of-care diagnostic devices. So when I was in a clinical diagnostic lab, there was something that always triggered my mind, how these instruments function, you see. So for me, it was not just about loading a sample on the instrument and then getting the results out of it. I was always fascinated by what is the mechanism of this instrument. And then I think it has led me to what I'm doing today, because in the research that I'm doing at the CSIR, it's not just fundamental research, it's focused research that has to lead to product development. And then the product development itself, it has to be in a position of creating jobs, because if you're going to develop a product, you're going to need manpower. So I love that about the CSIR, because what we are doing now is primarily focused on developing products, providing solutions to the society. And then part of the solutions to the society is going to be creating employment. So what I'm doing at the CSIR, I am developing a point-of-care diagnostic device for TB. All right. But then amongst other things that we're working on in our group is called Biophotonics under the leadership of Dr. Patience Mtunzi Gufa. And then what we're doing as well, we are working on HIV, and then we're working on SARS-CoV-2, and then we're also working on screening for substandard drugs. So the technique that I'm using in my case is called optical biosensing. So I'm developing an optical biosensor chip. So optical just means that I'm using, because I'm in the field of physics. So that just means that I'm using lasers. I'm using photonics in a way. And then biosensing in this case is just a matter of like, in my study, you identify something that recognizes the pathogen, you see, in order for you. So it's like you need to identify something that marries the other, you see. So in my case, what I'm doing is that I'm using something that's part of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis cell wall as my biorecognition element, you see, so that it recognizes the TB antibodies, you see, and then they match together. When they match together, I use the photonics part of it to tell me if those things are matching or they're not matching, giving me a negative and a positive sample. I think I've tried to explain it in the most basic form.
I'm the editor here at the CSIR, ne? So I read a lot of your guys' research.
Yeah.
But when I read it, I hardly ever understand what I'm reading. I just fix the English and make it sound nice. But now listening to you and V yesterday, I'm actually getting an understanding of the stuff that I've been reading, and you putting it to perspective, you know? So it's not just word on a piece of paper or on my screen. It's actually stuff that helps, stuff, because both the work that you both do, it's creating jobs, it's helping society, it's doing exactly what the mandate of the CSIR is, you know, creating research and innovation that helps to better the lives of South Africans. So I don't know if you can tell, I am so excited, and I'm going to stop talking, because once I get excited, I talk too much. Let's go on to the questions. The first question I have here is, how do you then, if someone has a background in physics, how do you to make the transition from physics to a medical sciences field? Okay, so how do you make that transition?
All right, so I'm going to use an example. I'm going to use myself as an example. So since the group is developing diagnostic devices, so they needed somebody with a background in clinical diagnostic, somebody with a background in clinical diagnostics. So when they advertised the position, they specifically wanted somebody with medical virology. And then there's also people that come in with medical microbiology, biotechnology, and stuff, you see. So what happens is, when you have the background that I had, you just need to then, so it's more like, biophotonics is more like a double field. So it's like a combination of physics and biology, you see. So you use the medical background that you're coming into the space with as your foundation. You need that. You use it as your foundation, but then it creates a platform for you to learn something new. How amazing is that? So it gives you that platform to learn about physics, because physics is what you see. The instruments that you see is the physics. But then the instruments need to analyze what has been prepared, which is the biology. So when you're doing your sample prep, you're applying a lot of biology, you're applying a lot of medical virology, but then to do the analysis itself, that's where the physics comes in. So that's why I think it was a very good strategic move, so that they can find people from two different fields, getting into that space, and then coming up with innovative ideas. But then for me, it's beneficial for me, because then I get to, master both sides, you see.
It's like getting the best of both worlds, having your cake and eating it. Because I've never understood that saying, why can't I eat my cake when I have it? Like, I mean, so you have your cake and you're eating it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, the next question is, what is it like working in a lab environment?
Oh, for me, I feel like I was born for it. There's something that I have with a lab. There's a connection that I have with a lab. There's some sense of belonging that I have with a lab. And then there is some sense of superiority that I feel when I'm in the lab. I feel in control. I feel in charge, and I feel like I belong here. So I think it's the same feeling that chefs have as well. So that's why you need to do something that is aligned with your personality, because when a chef's walks into a kitchen, they will have that connection with the kitchen. They can make a meal out of nothing. So with me, it's the same feeling that I get when I walk into a laboratory. I become very much aware of everything that is happening around, even the sounds of the different instruments. I can actually even tell which experiment is being performed at this time because I'm very much aware of that. I feel like I belong there and I feel like this is my space and I feel like I'm going to keep doing very well in that space. It feels very good. It's
Charles, you sound like
healing.
me when I'm editing. When I am reading people's writing
Yeah,
and working on it, they have the idea and then I just mold it and I make it, it just sounds right. The Queen's
yeah.
English. That's how I feel. The way you're explaining yourself in the lab, that's how I feel when I'm looking at my computer screen and working on words. And people have the misconception that when
Yeah.
you are a good editor, you're a good writer. Nope.
Oh,
Me,
okay.
if you want to frustrate me, ask me to write something. I will be very frustrated. But when it comes to me looking at your writing and then transforming your words into and just making them come to life, that's when I am alive.
I just realized something, Unat. You just made me realize the importance of supervisors. You see, because then they're going to take whatever is in your mind and then they're just going to perfect it, which is what you're doing when you are editing. So there has to be a writer, there has to be an editor.
Exactly. And I feel when you write your own thing, you can't edit your own thing either because you already know what you wanted to say and you think you said it the way it's supposed to be said, but no, half the time it's not. So it's important, like you say, that somebody writes something and you give it to someone else just to take another look at it, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, so it's true. Okay, and then
Yes.
our other question is, what are some of the key characteristics that one must have to become a medical virologist?
Oh, okay. You need to have the love for biology. That is the most basic thing, the foundation. You need to love biology. You need to have some level of obsession with biology. You need to be able to look at a human being and then think about all the processes that are happening in their body. You need to really, 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 really love biology. If you don't love biology, you're not going to make it in that space. You see? So you need to love biology. And the other thing, don't be a person that gets easily disgusted. For example, if you're working in a clinical diagnostic laboratory, you're going to work with stools, you're going to work with blood, you're going to work with sputum and urine and all different types of bodily fluids. So, and you have to go out for lunch after that, immediately after doing genome DNA extraction, immediately go out and have lunch. So you need to be born for it in a way, but then you just need to love it, you know? Mm.
There was communication that I edited that was published about a research that was being done that
Mm-hmm.
people were given bags to sort of do their number 2 in and then bring it in for it to be analyzed. I can't remember what it was called. As I was reading it, I was like, me, I'm not participating in this. So you guys look at that stuff and then you go and you eat afterwards.
When I was still in a clinical diagnostic lab, it's different now at the CSIR. But then also remember that pathogens are shed in different specimens. So that's why there is a need for all those different types of specimens, you see. But then the beautiful thing now that I'm at the CSIR, I'm getting to develop things that are at a higher level compared to just extracting DNA and then, yeah,
Okay.
doing diagnosis. Mm.
Yeah, you need to really have a love for it and the stomach for it because,
You need
yeah,
to,
and he's.
yeah.
Okay, and then our next question is, how do you stay up to date with new scientific techniques and advancements in virology?
You need to love reading. You need to love reading, and then you should also be able to give yourself time to interact with other people in the space and find out what other people are working on. Hence, like we have things like CSR Imaging Researchers Symposium. We have CSR conferences, we have national conferences, we've got international conferences. So you just need to be in that space whereby you actually even get to interact with other people because you can strike some good ideas from interacting with people. And then also people can, have some ideas, have some guidance on what you're doing, have the love for collaboration, which is one thing that is always encouraged at the CSIR, because you cannot be a jack of all trades, you see. So there is also a need for you to be able to collaborate with other people.
The C in epic collaboration.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one says, hi, Charles. Thank you for dedicating your time to this. How has working at a prestigious organization such as the CSIR elevated your career?
Oh, it has truly elevated my career. I wasn't I'm not the same person that I was when I walked into the CSIR. I think I've grown so much. I've drawn inspiration from people that I used to see on TV, and then now that I'm working closely with them, it inspires me quite a lot. CSIR, it's cream de la cream of Africa, and then I'm really very proud and humbled that I'm part of Team CSIR. It's a beautiful institution. The opportunities here are endless. Trust me when I say that. Opportunities at the CSIR are endless, I mean, I'll give you one example. I was truly very humbled by the invited speaker and the recent CSR Emerging Researchers Symposium. I mean, Daniel Ndima, he's one person that has also worked for the CSR, but then today he's using what he has learned to employ people. That's what CSR can do. So hence I'm saying that the opportunities here at the CSR are limitless. You just need to bring your A game. You just need to play your part, and then you will get there. CSR is a beautiful institution.
And you need to seize the opportunities, because an opportunity can be there, but if you don't seize it, then it's not going to work for you. It's like that whole old saying, horse to the water, drinking whatever.
Drink, yes.
If it doesn't want to drink, it will stay thirsty, even though the water is there. The CSIR gives us so many opportunities, bursary, opportunities to further our studies,
Yeah.
You said you are now pursuing your PhD. Are you doing it through a CSI bursary?
Yes, everything is covered by the CSR, and I'm a beneficiary.
You see, so the CSIR really is an amazing amazing organization to work for.
Yeah.
I also came in just as an editor, but I've always had a love for, I like internet drama. I like things. I'm a liker of things. And the CSIR has fed my liker of thingsness, because I'm doing things like this, facilitating sessions like this. I'm doing our internal TV, CSIR Connect. I do the facilitating for the brown bag sessions, and it's things that don't have to do with the job I was hired for, but it's things that make me happy, and it's things that help me help the organization. You see, so I have learned from the CSIR that you don't have to stick to your day job, if I can call it that. It gives you an opportunity to spread your wings,
Yeah, the other thing that I can just add on to that, Unat, is that you need to know yourself first.
Yes, that is
know yourself, know what you want. You don't just take every opportunity. You take something that is aligned with you. You take something that will propel you forward. You take something that is part of your destiny.
That is very, very true. That is so true. Yeah. Well, Charles, that is all the questions that we had for you today. I would also like to thank you for inspiring me. And, I'm so glad I got to know you, and I found out that we have so much, so much in common. And the fact that you said that you finished your varsity with an extra year. I also did that. Started early, but then ended up being delayed. But in my case, the university made us do a degree that was not approved by SACA, so I had to do the first year again. But but no matter what the reason, we have very many things in common. I'm going to make you my friend. Thank you to the STEMI Flicks and Chill session. I have a new friend in Charles.
Thank you. Unati, can I just say one last thing?
Yes, please.
Just adding to what you are saying, starting early, but then finishing late. I wanted to say understanding of time is very important. I believe that everything is planned. You see, I mean, some people started early, then they finished late. Some people started late, then they finished early. So understanding of time is very important. And thank you for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to more engagements with you, Unat. I like you already.
Thank you. I have a new friend in Charles.
Thank you.
It's true, Charles. Sometimes we want things, we want them at a certain time, but the stars align, I believe also. When the timing is right, the right thing will happen for you.
Definitely.
If that was all, I was actually going to ask you if do you have any words of encouragement or anything else you'd like to say. If that was it, then we are done. But if there's anything more that you'd like to say to encourage the people who are watching, go ahead. We still have 4 minutes.
Coming from a village, I hope there's one person from the village that is watching. I just want to encourage one person from a village. I come from a village. I'm here today, and then you can also do it. I'm not going to say a whole lot of things. All I can say is that you just need to be prepared to meet the right opportunity. Opportunities will come. If they don't collide with you, they will take you down. So you need to be prepared. Coming from a village, coming from a township, coming from wherever, be prepared because there's always opportunities outside there.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Charles, for making time for us. And thanks to you all for tuning in. We don't have a session tomorrow because we are having our CSIR Career Day. We'll have a whole lot of school kids coming to the CSIR ICC just to meet Charles and others like him and to just get demonstrations and to see for themselves the opportunities that we have at the CSIR. So our next session is on Thursday from 12 o'clock and then again on Friday. On Friday, we have 2 sessions to make up for tomorrow. So please, please, please do join us again. That is it from me. The next 3 sessions will be facilitated by Rehana. And please show her as much love as I know you have shown me, even though I can't see it. And that is it. Thank you so much. Cheers, everyone. Keep well, take care, and be good to yourself. Cheers, Charles. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.